Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Holbrook from CAD Dimensions. I want to welcome you to the afternoon webinar about creating inspection sheets using a product called Inspection Expert. A couple of housekeeping issues before we get going. I just want to do a final check on audio. If you could just raise your hand in the GoToWebinar window if you are okay with audio here. Make sure most of you, looks like everyone does have audio. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. You'll also notice in the GoToWebinar window there are two sections, one for chat and one for questions. If you could make sure throughout the presentation if you have any questions, they go into the question section. I will not be monitoring the chat window as we go. At the end of our presentation, we'll go ahead and go through any questions live with the rest of the group. Today our topic is about creating inspection sheets. There's a product that we've been introduced to in the last year that's really taken off for us, and we found that a lot of our customer base has a need for this type of product. The product's called Inspection Expert, and it actually comes in multiple flavors, which we're going to talk about today. Inspection Expert comes from a company called Extensible CAD. Extensible CAD, the founder, it was actually a SolidWorks reseller who did a lot of API work and found there was a need in a particular area and developed the program to go along with it. I'm not going to kill you with PowerPoint here, but I do just want to go through just a few things here. What is Inspection Expert? In Inspection Expert, there are, like I said, multiple flavors. Inspection Expert is tied to the CAD tool. In this case, I'm going to show you the Inspection Expert for SolidWorks, but there's also a version called First Article Inspection Expert, which is CAD independent, and we're going to show that one as well today. But what this product will do is actually create inspection reports for you by automating the balloon and generation of the outputs from the system. So the reports can be set up as templates and created using the data that you have. Some of the business issues that we're seeing that bring about the need for this type of product, you have organizations that have multiple drawing formats from different vendors, so they got to create a certain inspection report for this vendor versus another vendor. It's a very time-consuming process to create these reports, and typically what we're seeing is it's a manual process, and you have to check and double check and triple check your reports because there are so many dimensions, and if something changes, again, that process just starts all over again. Obviously in high regulated industries there are requirements for using particular formats. One second here. Sorry about that. It was telling me to go ahead and shut down an internet page so that I had proper audio. Does everyone still have audio at this point? Okay, thanks, Gary. Now, looking at some of the things to consider when looking at a package like this, and these are general statistics that we've seen from our customer base that have purchased the software. When you take an average drawing of 100 characteristics, 100 dimensions, GD&T that needs to be inspected, it typically takes manually an individual 4 to 6 hours to create an inspection package. Which is the balloon drawing and the inspection sheet, which is typically an Excel spreadsheet that gets handed over to the quality people. It's very tedious, lots of mistakes. Those are some of the reasons. Also, what you're actually getting to create these inspection packages from are not necessarily always the CAD drawing. Some people are getting PDFs, some people are getting TIFFs. You're getting all sorts of different things. We're going to show you how to leverage the CAD drawing and how to leverage other formats. Now, before I go on to this, I just want to launch a couple polls here. First one is I just want to get a sense of what the group online has in their organizations. I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll. If you could just go ahead and pick the characteristic that most fits your organization. I'll go ahead and keep it open for a few seconds here. Okay, about 65% voted. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here, and I'm going to share the results. You can see that an overwhelming majority of you are manually creating inspection reports at this time. Those of you who don't create inspection reports, maybe you have a requirement coming up. Again, this product will help you utilize that. It'll be interesting to know if you're using other software to create inspection reports, i.e. any CMM-based softwares. If you could just post that in the question section so I can get an idea of what you're using, and we'll go from there. Okay. Next thing I want to do here, one more poll. Let's see. Actually, no, I don't have one. Let's just keep moving on here. Inspection Expert for SolidWorks integrates within SolidWorks. Our output from it is going to be a PDF file. Inspection Expert First Article allows us to take in over 50 different formats and recognize the data on those formats to capture for the inspection sheet. And again, that's what we're going to show here today. It will automatically balloon the CAD drawing, automatically create the PDF file. It will allow you for revision tracking of that PDF and the output as well. It will allow you to create a template or use existing templates for your inspection reports. Can everyone see? There we go. Using existing templates. A lot of you probably have some sort of Excel format internally. There is actually a utility in Inspection Expert that will create these intelligent reports so we can easily get data from the CAD tool or from the TIFF or PDF directly into these reports. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into the software itself. I'm going to start with Inspection Expert for SolidWorks. I'll give a second for my screen to update here. It's a gold partner add-in, so if you go to Tools Add-ins in SolidWorks, you'll notice down at the bottom here I have Inspection Expert for SolidWorks. With Inspection Expert for SolidWorks turned on, they've taken advantage of the ribbon bar format that we have in SolidWorks of the command manager, and they've placed all of their commands on that ribbon bar. Now the first thing you might want to do when creating those inspection reports is you may want to start to edit some of the items that can be standard within your organization, such as manufacturing processes, vendors that you're utilizing, and inspection methods. Let me just go through this just to give you an idea of what's here. This is out-of-the-box Inspection Expert. So here we can determine what processes are available internally to manufacture different portions of the parts that you're looking at. These can be imported text files, CSV files to fill this out, or you could just manually add, delete, and type. Now the same thing goes for a list of vendors. You may want to keep track, and a lot of organizations are doing inspection for multiple incoming parts and different vendors. You can also specify the inspection type. As you see, we'll go through the product. This actually has some ties to ANSI and mil-spec standards, so we can do normal inspection, tighten inspection, and look at the quantities to be inspected based upon the inspection type. Also keeping a list of inspection methods. As we go to export out the data, we can specify how that information is to be inspected. Again, this is just an import through an Excel file and so on. Now the product is very simple to use here. It's going to take me just a few moments to get this entire drawing drawn. I want to first start off by creating a new inspection project. It uses the tab next to the property manager to put that information. It's a wizard-based series of windows just like you see in SOLIDWORKS today. In here, under the general settings, I can specify the part number, part name, part rev, and information. But notice these are buttons. So if I click on these buttons, I can link them to maybe the part number. This is a custom property for part number. Maybe I want to link them to another property for part name. Or you could manually type in some of that. Here's our list of vendors, so I can come in here from my vendor list that I showed you how to create before, and we can give it a custom job number as well. And again, this is all part of the revision tracking side of things. We can job numbers and specify revisions so we have everything. What balloon number are we starting with? Are we going to sort them counterclockwise? The classification, critical, major, minor, as far as what's to be inspected. Do I want to create a balloon for each instance? Now, Inspection Expert supports single sampling by attributes using ANSI Z1.4 and the MIL standard 105E spec. So what we can do is provide it with lot size, inspection level, inspection type, and acceptable quality limits, and it will actually tell you how many defectives you may encounter before you need to reject an entire lot. So this is all tied in there. Some organizations don't use this type of information and feedback, but it is all built within the system. So once I fill out page number 1 here, I just work my way through the wizard. Inspection Expert has a pretty powerful list of filtering tools that allow us to determine what gets extracted off the drawing. If I'm going to go through and include dimensions, do I want it to pull inspection only dimensions? Do I want to get reference dimensions, basic dimensions off the drawing? Does it recognize overridden values? And then here are some of the other things. We can pull in notes, GD&T automatically, hole callouts, welds, and surface finish. You determine what you want to filter into the system. Now if I hit next, we have to have some way of identifying the tolerance on dimensions that aren't necessarily listed. Now they're typically listed in the title block. However, you can come in here and specify the tolerance by precision, so that if it has a certain precision, it will add that tolerance value to that dimension. Or you can do it by a range of values or using the document defaults. So there are different ways of providing that. Now from this point, I wanted to create the balloons based upon everything that I've specified. I just hit my little check mark here. The system's going to go through both pages of the drawing. The balloons are automatically added based upon what your font size is in your tools options under balloons. And you'll see you'll end up with a characteristic tree based upon what we've specified as far as what's it going to extract. If I expand the milling section here, you'll find that it found dimensions on drawing view 5 and drawing view 6. If I expand those, notice the little plus sign, I can actually see the dimensions that it found. Okay, and I can expand those further and actually find the number of instances and the actual dimension itself. Now by selecting on it, you'll notice at the bottom half, I can now look at the characteristic number, the quantity, units, length. I can specify if this is a key or reference dimension. Automatically extracts the plus minus tolerance and does some of the heavy work for you and does the upper and lower limits. If I continue looking down here, if I've specified a process, if not, I can go ahead and specify that process for that dimension that's going to be used to manufacture it. I can go ahead and change classification method and some of the other things that I wanted to do as well. I also have the ability in here, if I wanted to reorder dimensions. And let me find something here that we can reorder. Notice it also got the GD&T information from this frame. So you do have the ability to do those types of things as well. Let's see here. Now, once you have it all ballooned, the balloons, there's some options here to select the balloons all in one shot. We can move them around all in one shot. We also have choices as to what layer the balloons go on. I have mine set up to go automatically to a balloon layer. So if I go to my layer dialog at any point, I can turn off my balloons in the system. Okay. And because they're selected, you won't see them disappear here. There you go. So it makes it easy to control what's there. Now the real kicker is to get these out to the inspection sheet itself. Now let me take you first to the options essentially for this. My inspection expert options. Let's see here. Let's hit our Excel option. Our project settings, we have different Excel templates set up, and some of these are industry standard to accept this information, the balloons, the dimensions and tolerancing, and all the inspection methods that we just specified. These can be your existing templates. There's actually a template editor that will allow you to create this automation that you're going to see here. So we'll start out maybe with a PPAP form here if I want to go ahead and export out the CSV for that. Okay, we can go ahead and take a look at the results of that. Now, what's nice about tying this directly to Excel, you can see the automation first of all. It's able to bring over the frames, the actual dimension values, the limits. We can also get in here and have data validation. For instance, this specification limit is between 0.35 and 0.31. I'll start typing in some dimensions here. That one's okay for my first test. But if I go outside the limit, you can see it automatically specifies not okay. So some of the real nice formatting methods that we have available to us in Excel allows us to kind of go that next level. And again, like I said, you can utilize what you have currently. Now, if you want to export out a different format, we just go right back to my inspection report, export to Excel. Maybe I want to go process performance sheet here. We'll go ahead and export a different format here so you have an idea. I know a lot of your organizations may have different inspection reports for different companies. Here's just a different example of a report here. You may be able to filter the rows and columns based upon information listed within them and so on. We got a question. I usually don't answer these at the end, but what about inspections that may be called out in a notes text box? Notes can be captured as well, and you can filter out what portion of those notes is captured. So those can be added the same way. So there are options for that. This product really doesn't have a whole lot as far as setup and making a lot of changes to make it work. It's just going to recognize the information on the drawing and create your inspection sheet based upon that. So very simple, easy to use product. Now the second half of this is to discuss the other product that is not necessarily tied directly to SOLIDWORKS. That product is to be used when you are not given a SOLIDWORKS drawing. Now let me clarify by saying the inspection expert that I just shown actually comes in multiple CAD formats. For Pro-E, I believe Inventor has that product as well. But this product here is CAD Neutral. This will pull in 50 different formats. It will also allow you to not have to use a SOLIDWORKS suite of software to do so. In a lot of your organizations, it may be a quality manager or quality team that's putting together these ballooned tables, and they may need a different type of tool to do so. Now, in this particular case, we have Inspection Expert First Article, and I've been given a PDF file to inspect from. Now, clearly a PDF file isn't as intelligent as a SOLIDWORKS drawing with dimensions and notes and something that we can actually recognize. It's more of a visual recognition at this point. So once opened in, and let me just close this one down so you can get a sense here of what I had to do to get in there. Once opening the drawing, you're going to pick maybe a format that it recognizes, and there's 50 different formats contained within here. Mechanical formats is going to get your CAD formats. There's some ECAD ties as well, image, TIFF, JPEG, and then you got your typical DXF, DWG, PDF. There's even Office formats. If I take a PDF in this case and open it up, it clearly isn't going to be able to automatically extract the dimensions and tolerances because it is a PDF file. So what this tool does, it allows us to do optical character recognition. I'm going to show you how that works. We're going to go ahead and zoom into an area that I need to recognize the information on the drawing. Let me zoom in a little bit further here. And if I right-click, I do a lot of my work in this product through my right-click. It makes it very easy to work with. I want to start by extracting dimensions. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a window over the dimension, and the system does an optical character recognition of that dimensional value. So it tries to determine, based upon the image itself, what the dimension is. Now notice it was able to clearly see that it was a 325 dimension with a plus-minus tolerance of 0.02, and it was able to calculate the upper and lower limits of those. Now, just as you saw an inspection expert, I can come in here and select for reference or basic. I can go under the inspection section and specify the process, the method for inspection, and add any further comments I would like to have on the inspection sheet itself. When it comes to balloons, we can specify, remember we're not tied to SOLIDWORKS here, so now we have our own ballooning mechanism, size, style, fonts, colors, so on. And then there's a custom section where I can add other information, maybe vendor lists or whatever else you might want to store within this. So that's how I'm going to kind of work along here. I'm going to keep my recognized dimension up, and I'm going to go ahead and just keep selecting items. And notice at the bottom of the screen you'll see a table being built of the dimensions that I've captured. Now I'm going to work my way around the drawing here, making sure I get everything. There's another dimension. Right-clicking allows me to go where I need to go here. And here I have a control frame for GD&T. That's just a different extraction technique for optical character recognition. I'll just go ahead and extract the entire frame. It knows that it's a geometric tolerance. Now I can select the subtype, so I can come in here and say perpendicularity, but now I also want the dimensional value. Notice in this window here we have the ability to rotate the image, zoom in and out on the image, but I can just come in here, window over the dimensional value, and tell it to capture that. So it's able to capture the value and the quantity, and I can add a tolerance if I like. And I just continue my way through the drawing this way. I got some dimensions here. Let's come down a little bit. We'll go ahead and extract the dimension. Go that one. Okay, let's make sure it got this one right. Notice it got the plus-minus tolerance right. I was able to figure out everything here. Let's see. Keep it moving along. Now, the whole idea that I'm zoomed in like that is part of what helps the optical character recognition. Zooming in gives it a little better, a little clearer picture of what we're looking for. Here's another GD&T frame. We can go ahead and select our perpendicularity and let it recognize the dimensional value for that as well. And again, it does so nicely. There's a couple over here on this view. Yeah, there's a different GD&T subtype. We'll go ahead and select the flatness. Go ahead and recognize the dimensional value. Now, the font type that's used within the PDF or TIFF file does affect how well it's able to recognize the characters, and it does have settings for that, which I'm going to take you into here in just a moment. The settings will allow you to change over to maybe AutoCAD fonts versus standard font recognition that it's used to using here. But in my experience, it's going to get you a majority, if not all, of dimensions that you're looking for. It'll also recognize quantities. In this case, there's a 2x value, so the quantity is picked up as 2, and so on. I think I have one more control frame here, and we're ready to go to the next step. Again, each of these extracted values can be specified, all the other information, the process method, and so on. In this case, again, we're dealing with GD&T, so here's my profile over surface. We'll extract the dimensional value, and we're good. So if we look here, we now have a fully ballooned drawing. On the bottom section, this is a table of everything you've extracted. You can go back in and group and ungroup and recapture information that maybe didn't capture correctly at this point. What we need to do is, I'm going to show you a few other things here. We can deal with grids as well. If I wanted to come in here and enable a grid, I could specify the number of rows and columns in the grid. Let's say 3 by 5, and I can specify the colors. And it will actually place a grid on the drawing itself. And notice my table at the bottom now has a grid location for the dimensions. You'll see that with drawings with hundreds and hundreds of dimensions, it becomes a little bit hard for the inspector to go ahead and find the information that they're looking for. So this is a method of doing that. I also want to show you can specify the region in which the grid actually exists. I can come into the center portion here and actually make sure the grid is only in the center of the drawing itself. It's asked me to save it, so I went ahead and saved the existing drawing. Now let's go ahead and export out. This is a little bit different. I just come in here, I tell it I want to export the inspection project, and I have choice. Do I want just the PDF, which is the ballooned PDF file? Do I want to create the Excel file? Do I want the PDF and the Excel file? We're going to go ahead and do the PDF and Excel file, and I'm going to throw them on my desktop. You will notice that on the export there is a suffix placed on the name of the drawing, and you can specify what that suffix is, so you know that it is the balloon drawing, and this actually has fair at the end for a result of the CSV file. So let's go ahead and take a look at the result of these. It uses the same formats that you would use in Inspection Expert for SOLIDWORKS as far as the Excel file is concerned. Here's our PDF file. The PDF file, what they've done is they've created the balloons and the grid on a layer. So you can actually turn on and off in the latest versions of PDF Reader those layers to actually see the drawing versus the actual information itself. And here's your inspection report. Now it's a little bit different here, and now it actually captures the image and places it into the cell, and you have control over the rotation of that image, the size of that image in that cell itself. So the optical character recognition is just extracting that information. Okay. Now I see some questions coming through as to what happens when there's a change to the existing CAD data. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off my grid here in a moment. What happens if I get a new version of this drawing? Well, we'll go ahead and say, under our File menu, say we want to replace the drawing. If I say Replace Drawing, I'll go ahead and find the drawing we're going to replace it with, which is a Rev B of this particular drawing. Would you like to compare the drawing to the previous to see what's changed? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now immediately, Inspection Expert First Article is going to give me an image showing anything that's been deleted from one to the other in red, and anything that's been added from one to the other in green. So the new drawing I brought in did not have balloons, which makes sense. We only ballooned the original Rev A. But the new drawing I brought in also has some dimensional changes. This 618 dimension now uses a different tolerancing scheme. And then we have an angular dimension in here that we want to use. In here we also have the ability to overlay differences. We could do side-by-side comparisons. This is fantastic if you're got a really busy drawing and you're really having trouble finding out what you're seeing for differences. Here's our additions. Here's our deletions. And it really gives you a nice look at what we're dealing with here. So let me take my overlay. Here's an overlay of the two. If I'm ready to accept the newer drawing, I have the option to accept the replacement and reject the replacement. I can even export out the comparison. If I accept the replacement model, it goes ahead and it keeps the existing balloon structure that we have, and I'm now able to come in here and finish recognizing the new dimension that was added here. I'll go ahead and capture that so we have that in there. Now we also have an issue up here with the number 2 dimension. So let's go down here and take a look at what it did here. If I look at number 2, you still see that it has the plus minus value of plus minus the same value. In this case, we can go ahead and recapture the characteristic. Okay, now it brings us right back in here. Let's see here. Now that's not going to do it from the image, so in this case I may let's see. I think I can get it here. Let's see. Yeah, I may have to. I think I'm going to end up deleting this thing, and you actually recapture the value this way. And again, you can reorder the balloons as well. So if I recapture, it gets the proper value, and you can see it didn't even in that case. I did not do that close enough. So let's see. We'll just zoom in just a hair more. Extract my dimension. Make sure I get everything properly. And it's having a little bit of trouble with the minus value. I may have to type that in this case. Okay, so you have the ability to take 2 drawings and bring them back and compare. And at this point, I can go ahead and re-export out my project. So that's the basis of the 2 Inspection Expert products. I know we have a kind of a short webinar here today. I wanted to go back through some questions that some of you folks may have here. Let's see what we have. First question, any controls set up for acceptable quality limit levels? As you saw in both products, you have the ability to select acceptable quality limits, the lot sizes, and so on, and it will help you to determine the number of piece parts to be inspected. Another question about the inspections that may be called out in the notes of a text box. You can go ahead and also do that. It will extract the notes. And you can, like in this tool, you can go ahead and capture, like I was doing in the frame, the individual dimension out of the note itself. Another question, will all our prints need to be redone in a specific format to use this program? The prints are what they are. Either you have a SolidWorks file or you have a PDF TIFF. When it comes to First Article Inspection Expert, it's going to take that format and use whatever you give it. Okay, it uses, like I said, optical character recognition to look at the image to figure out what you have. Now, when it comes to SolidWorks, if you're dealing with an Inspection Expert for SolidWorks, as long as you're using SolidWorks dimensions, that's what it's going to go ahead and extract. There's really no other way, right? You're either dimensioning it in SOLIDWORKS or you're not dimensioning it at all. So what you're probably going to use for customization is the inspection sheets themselves. There is a tool or utility to create that automation so that when you hit export inspection sheet, it takes the dimensions, puts them in the location you want them to be in the Excel file, and it is very simple to set up. You're talking 10-20 minutes to take even a tough one and redo it. So you may have to do that a few times for different vendors that use different formats, but that utility is there. Fractions and ordinate DIMMs, it's able to capture those as well. I don't have a specific drawing here for that, but it is able to go ahead and fractions. It's able to understand all the different unit systems, minutes, hours. It's able to capture everything there. As far as the price goes, I'll have to look into that. I want to say it's about $1,200, $1,195 or so for the product. Let me go back to my PowerPoint just for a moment here, finish things up. One of the things that we do have as part of this is an ROI that makes it very easy for you to go back to your organization and sell the savings for this. It's pretty easy to see the difference between the automation and someone sitting there typing in dimensions, making mistakes, taking 6 hours to do 100 characteristic drawing versus having the system do it. So the ROI is pretty easy to overcome in this case. Just summary, what we're seeing: 4 to 6 hour inspection sheet. We're around 6 minutes once you're fully up to speed on the software. It's a very short learning curve. Inspection Expert for SOLIDWORKS is fully integrated. Inspection Expert First Article is a standalone product, does not require the CAD seat to run as well. And we're seeing that this stuff's just paying for itself in just a couple weeks if you're doing these inspection sheets pretty regularly. Some product packaging that we see: the CAD integration versions do require the CAD program. They pull the actual dimensional data versus the first article, as I was saying, does not require the CAD, and it uses optical character recognition. The biggest benefit to first article is the fact that you can pull in all sorts of different formats. So if you're not just inspecting to SOLIDWORKS drawings, you got vendors coming in and giving you all formats, then first article is going to be a better fit for you. Some other product options that I want to point out: we do have a quick start training that it takes 1 day to get you through, and we can do it in just a couple hours really to get you up and running on the program and going with it. There are network licensing options for both. So if you wanted to network a seat or two of first article and you have multiple people creating inspection sheets, you can do so. And we also offer assistance with templates. If you want to contract with us just to do your templates, we can do a go-to meeting and set those up. And like I said, they're 20 minutes to an hour on average to set those up. The other part of this is helping you with your CAD drawing templates to make sure that some of these custom properties are in your sheet formats and all that information's there. We do offer that as well. And another thing I want to just let you know as part of this this webinar today, there is a try and buy on this product. There's a 30-day trial. If you want some of that information, just send me an email, Kevin@CADdimensions.com, and we can hook you up with a 30-day trial. The only thing that they typically ask is that myself and you or one of our AE staff stay in contact just to make sure you're not having any issues and that you're able to work things out the way you want to. If you go to inspectionexpert.com, all one word, at the top of the page you'll see try and buy. In there, you're able to fill out that information, and that will get the ball rolling. Please, if you could, just specify that CAD Dimensions is your reseller. That will help us out and make sure things get routed to us a little bit quicker. Let's check for a few more questions. Does this have SBC capability? Not as of yet. I know there's been discussions on that, but it does not have that. Can SOLIDWORKS version also be used on PDFs? No. The SOLIDWORKS version will only read SOLIDWORKS drawings. Okay. Now I want to thank everyone for coming today. I really appreciate your time. I kept it kind of short and sweet today. I hope you find some benefit in this product. We definitely see that it's useful. It can save a lot of time and money, and let us know if we can do anything for you. Thank you.